Okay, y'all, so today we're going to tackle how to sight read on the guitar. We're going to start with the first position, which is going to be everything from open to the 4th fret. We're not going to go past the 4th fret. So this gives us a 4-finger grouping right here, right? So there's a sharp after every note or a flat before every note. So what I'm getting at is F sharp is the same thing as G flat. If you're going forward in motion, it's a sharp. If you're going backwards, it's a flat. That's one way to look at it out of many ways. All right, so everything but B and C and E and F have a sharp or flat between them. And on the piano, you'll notice the keys, B and C, E and F. The piano is laid out very easily to understand the notes, right? But the guitar is not too bad. Our tuning is E, A, D, G, B, E. Now, each string we can count up chromatically, meaning in musical order, okay? Now, there is no H in music, so after G sharp, it's going to go back to A. We're going to start with our E string, which is open, and let's just go through the notes. If you notice the 2 dots right here, and I know some of y'all are not beginners, and this lesson is for people who've been playing for a while too that just don't know how to sight read. We have E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E. Now, if I want to count it backwards, E, E flat, D, D flat, C, B, B flat, A flat, G, G flat, F, and E. Okay, each string is going to count up like this. A sharp, B, C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, F, F sharp, G, G sharp, A. Now, if we're looking over here, this number sign here, that's originally number sign, then it became a hashtag, but it's actually a sharp, but it's kind of offset. It's kind of offset like that. So that is a sharp, and it's going to go before the note. So this note is actually a G sharp, okay? If you see this B right here that looks like a B, that's actually a flat. Now, let's look at the notes on the staff itself, okay? So here on the staff, we have every good boy does fine. Okay, so E, G, B, D, F, so skipping notes. In between the lines, we have the word face, F, A, C, E. Okay, now, so it will go in chromatical order, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F. But sometimes it's easier to just go, every good boy does fine. Now, we also have ledger lines on the guitar going below the staff. So the one right before E is going to be D. Now, the first ledger line down, which would be this note right here, that's a C, okay? 2 ledger lines down, that's your open A. So that's A right there. 3 ledger lines down is F, so the one right before that is E. Now, if you notice, though, 3 ledger lines down, we have F, and then 2 ledger lines down is A, 1 ledger line down is C, and then the first line is E. So again, it's going to repeat the word face. So that means that right here we have every, and then in between, good boy does fine. So that's going to just continue to be the cycle throughout this whole thing. All right, so let's look at timing values now. If you see a whole note, you know, it looks like a 0, that takes up the entire measure. Assuming we're in 4/4, meaning 4 quarter notes per measure. So you see 4/4 right here. If you don't see anything, it's going to be assumed 4/4. And what that means is if I'm counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, the next one here is kind of like a whole note, but it's smaller and it has a stem on it, but it's not filled in. That's a half note, so that's going to be 2 beats. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so then the next one, it's filled in a bit smaller. It's going to be 1 beat. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, the next one we have is going to be 8th notes. So that we count as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 16th notes are counted as 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a 1E and a 2E and a 3E and a 4E and a... Now, if you see a dot on the note, that gets the note's value plus half that note's value. This is a dotted half note. A dotted note gets the value of the note plus half that value. a half note gets 2 beats, right? So 2 plus 1, because 1 is half of that value. So a dotted half note's going to get 3 beats. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And I stopped the quarter note right there. Okay. Now, if you get a tied note right here, that's going to tie in. We got 2 half notes, and it might tie into another measure even, but you're going to play it one time. It's tied into that. So that would be the same as a whole note, but we're going to just 1, 2, 3, 4 because it's tied in. Now we have rests. If it dips down like this, that's called a whole rest. So we're not going to play that measure. So whole dips down like a W. The half rest rises up like a hat. So think half hat, half hat. Always look for little phrases like that to remember things. Quarter rest is going to be this little squiggly thing right here. So that means we're not playing for that beat. And then we have the 8th rest. So we're not playing those. And then we have the 16th rest. So the 8th rest is going to have 1 little flag, and this has 2 little flags. Now we also have 30-second notes. If you have a group of notes tied in together and it has a 3 over it, that's a triplet. And if it's got 1 still, it's an 8th note triplet. So it's going to go triplet, 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 triplet. Or if it's got a 6 over it, triplet, 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 triplet. So that's the basics of music timing right there. Just the basic, And I'm just trying to get you going on this so that if you see a piece of music put in front of you, you can figure it out. And you can always tab it out. But I'm going to tell you the quickest way to do this is to avoid the tab and force yourself to think. Okay, so speaking of that, let's go back to here. We're going to take a chromatic approach, see how we have this low E. So that's going to be open. And then we're going to have the F, F sharp, G, G sharp, and then A is going to be open. And then A sharp, B, C, C sharp, and then D is open, and then D sharp, E, F, F sharp, and then G is open, and then G sharp, A sharp, B, and then open. Second string is also B. That's the one place you're going to have the same note in the same range. So we have open, and then C, C sharp, D, D sharp. And of course, tablature, you have your strings. So this is your low E string, and each number is your fret, okay? And then E is open here. And then 1st fret, 2nd fret, 3rd fret, 4th fret. And then I went ahead and just included the A right there. Okay. Now, the next part of this, I'm going to look at as kind of a process of elimination. We use this at AIM, actually. And Sid Wolf was actually my original sight reading teacher. And at least I'm nice, man. When you go into music school, I don't know how it is nowadays. I mean, I went ages ago when we still wrote on caves and stuff. But when you go into music school, you immediately lose all tab. There's no tab. You have to learn how to read. And a lot of people, you have to have some sort of sight reading ability just to get in, at least you used to. But anyway, so we started out with this book, and it's a great book, to just get you up in sight reading. Now, first thing you're going to look at, we're in treble clef. And then common time, which is also 4/4. There is no sharps or flats over here. That's your key signature. So you got your time signature, your key signature. Like right here, though, we got the key of 1 flat. We're going to get into this later on, but that would be the key of F. The key of F has 1 flat, and that flat's going to be B. So and see how it's on the line of B right there? So every time you run across a B, unless otherwise noted, until you get another key signature, it's going to automatically be flattened. And then right here's the key of 1 sharp. That's the key of G. See how it's on that line? It's on the G. So right here, we're resetting this. So no more B flats, but now we're going to go to every sharp or every F we come to, we're going to sharpen it, okay? So let's look right here. I like to use the process of elimination here. We have 1 ledger line down. That's actually called your middle C. Now, on the grand staff, you have the lines that would start right here, actually. So the guitar does go down in the grand staff, but it's not worth writing 2 staffs over, so we just use ledger lines. So the first line down is going to be the C. Now, if I'm looking at my strings, I have open E, right? Well, if I count up to a C, that's going to be way over here. That's way too high, okay? So my next string is going to be an A, open. C is going to be pretty close to that. And here's kind of the ridiculous process of elimination I go through. The next string open is going to be D. that's higher than C in pitch, so it cannot be on that string. So it has to be on the A string. So we have A, which is open, A sharp, B, C. So we're going to give each finger its own fret. That's kind of how classical guitar is trained, and I was trained that way. But we're going to go this note right here, C. Now, this note is higher in pitch, but it's an E. So we know it's not going to be the low E because the low E is way down here. It's past this line right here. So it's got to be, and it's not the high E. The high E is way up here. So again, we're looking at our strings. The next string we have is going to be the D string, and that E is going to be pretty close to D. The next one is going to be the G string, which is going to be too high in pitch. So if I have open D, and then I have first fret is going to be D sharp, and then E right there. So we have C, E, and then we also have this right here. And I don't want you to have to use the cheat sheet. Okay, so C, E. Now we have G. That's just going to be the open G. And then we have B, which is also going to be open. Okay. Now we have F, A, C. So this is a C. Okay. And that's going to be a higher C, but see how close it is to that B? So we just have B is open and C. And then the A is going to be lower in pitch than that B. So we're going to have to look on a G string. We have G, G sharp, A right here. And then we have F. And again, F comes in the alphabet before G. So we're going to have to look on a 4th string for that F. So we have D, D sharp, E, F right here. And then here we go back to that E, which we already played. Now, here we have a G again, but it's a G sharp. So that's going to be first fret. And then B. And then D. That's going to be the right there because we have B, C, C sharp, D. And here's the open E right here. And then C is going to be on the B string. And then A is going to be on the G string. And then E is going to be on the D string. Okay, now we're going to F, A, C, F, and then E, C, and then G, and then E, F, and then this is going to be the open D right here. And then we're going to have a B. That's going to be on the A string. And then 2 lines down is the A. So remember that 3 lines down is F, 2 lines down is A, 1 line down is C, first line is E, right? So this is going to be G, low G. And then here we have a C and then a B flat. So we have a B flat, same thing as A sharp. So A sharp or B flat, and then A, and then a G. So then the next line, every B we work on is going to be flat right here. All right, here's the second position. So second position starts with the F. So you're actually going to start on the first fret here, and it's going to go from the first fret to the 5th fret. Where first position is open to 4th fret. Second position, 1st to 5th fret. Third position is going to be 2nd to 6th fret. And you'll see, and you know, you're adding high notes and dropping low notes when you're doing positional play like this. But you'll usually see that means second position. So it goes everywhere, you know. And you could actually consider it, the second fret's going to get your first finger, and if we need to reach back, we will. And that way you can go second position, third position, fourth. It just goes up per fret. But anyway, this will kind of give you a basic gist of how sight reading works. And anybody can do it. You just need to do it every day. And although I do teach part of the Shawn Lane curriculum, and Sid teaches part of it, Shawn was not a big sight reader, but he did understand it because he would take different symphonies and stuff from the library and orchestras, and he would take each part and program it into a sequence. So in order to do that, he had to understand, you know, the basic staff or whatnot. But if you do this every day, you're going to really learn your instrument. And my main thing is I don't want you to have any limitations. Your only limitation should be yourself. So I want you to be able to read any piece of music that's put in front of you. And this is just a really basic run through on how to sight read on the guitar. And hey, if you guys like my channel, please like and subscribe and comment. And if you want really in-depth training, including going live, we have a school. It's skool.com/Shawn Lane, where we're teaching the curriculum that Shawn Lane helped us write. And that's me and Sid Wolf. We got 2 teachers, and it's on sale right now. It's only $29 a month. That's cheaper than 1 guitar lesson. Or you can buy the whole year for $300. And anyway, I'm Jimmy Hudson. I approve this message.